Welcome to the Influency Podcast. I'm Hadar, and today we are going to listen to a real-life story about English success. You are going to listen to an interview with one of my students who is going to tell you what is possible now that English is no longer an obstacle. Let's listen. Today you get to meet Katya. Katya is one of my star students. She's an incredible woman from Russia, and she will tell you her story and her transformation journey from where she was 1 year ago to where she is today.
Hi. Hi, everyone. I'm great. How are you?
I'm excellent. How are you doing today?
Thank you so much. I'm doing amazing. I was waiting for this opportunity and for this talk for the whole day and maybe even longer.
Well, the feeling is mutual, and I'm happy that we finally got to have this conversation in front of people who may not know you, because in our community, our student community, you are a celebrity. Katya is not only a member, she's a member in Beyond, which is our English practice community. It's our membership, and also New Sound, which is our signature program, our transformative program that we launch twice a year. Now, Katya took the first round of New Sound, and she is now an ambassador inside Beyond. So she helps facilitate the program and English in a way to our new students. She hosts a lot of events, conversation groups, and she really helps our students, our new students, reach their goals as someone, who's not necessarily a language coach, but has someone who is there in the trenches with them doing the work. But at the same time, she's been where they are right now, and she's helping them and guiding them to find their way. So Katya, would you like to tell us, give us a little intro and tell us a bit about yourself?
Okay. So my name is Katya. I'm from Russia, and I live in a small town which is called Chita in the east of Russia. And I work as a professor at medical university. And actually, it's my pain, but I don't need English at my work or on daily basis. And I don't have anyone here to talk to in English. And it's my dream to work in English because I enjoy every single minute that I speak in English and I communicate, I deliver something in English because I receive a lot of happiness doing that. So that's why I take every opportunity that comes my way just to practice English and share my experience, my knowledge, and my passion with other people.
Which is incredible, and it's working. Did you know that this is where you're going to end up in 12 months later when you first joined New Sound 1 year ago?
Yeah, I couldn't even imagine that. I was not even dreaming about that. It's not even my dream. So it's interesting. Yeah, so when I joined New Sound last year, I was a completely different person. But at that time, I already had a great passion towards English because I was studying English at that point for 3 years. And I was enjoying, but I felt that I was not free in English. And I was doing a lot of stuff, but I didn't feel that I was progressing. I was moving anywhere. And I felt that my practice was not working. And I think it comes to the flaws of conventional English studying because I was taking English course at a local English school. And it was challenging for me from the beginning because I like challenges. And when I came to the school, I was tested actually with level A1, but they didn't have A1 level group. They didn't have A2 and even B1. And they could suggest me only B1 plus. And I decided, okay, I'm not going to wait for several months. I want to do it today. I signed up and it was very hard for me, but I was sure that I could catch up. And I could, but only in passive skills because I could do stuff. I could read by myself. I could listen. I could do grammar, but I couldn't practice speaking by myself, even though I was following all pieces of advice that you can find on the internet. I was trying to find an English speaking partner on the internet, but internet is not very safe space. So I tried several times, it didn't work, and I just decided, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. And then I started taking classes on Italki app, and it helped me to boost my confidence a bit, but not a lot, because I couldn't take classes every day. I could take just once a week or even rarely. And I think I always had a lot of limiting beliefs and negative thoughts about my speaking, because I actually could speak. Now, when I look back and I can assess myself, I could speak English, but I always thought that I couldn't, that my English was not enough. And last year, I came to the point that I needed to change something because I tried everything. I felt that just there is no any other options for me. And when I saw a new sound course, I decided to sign up because I was following your channel, I think for 2 or 3 years, right from the beginning. And actually in the beginning, I couldn't allow myself even to subscribe to your channel because I felt, oh, my English is not enough. I can't do that. I can't sign up for her channel. I can't speak English. I don't understand. So that's how I came
Crazy.
to
Just
New
like as a
Sound.
side note, it's crazy the conversations that we have with ourselves about, how much more we have to work to get like the basic things that we need, right? Like how much we're not enough and this is not enough for us. And like, it's really crazy. And the secret and what has made it possible for you is that you eventually didn't listen to it, right? Would you say that that's true? Like all the negative voices, you listen to them and then until you're like, I have a feeling that I actually do need to do this.
I always felt that there are two voices in my head, and one was saying, you can't do this, and another, very weak, was said, no, you can do this. And I had a great passion. I wanted to, I fell in love with English. I don't remember when it happened and how it happened. But for me, English, it's kind of an art, like a music, a melody. I like the melody. And it's like when you are listening to a music and you want to play the music by yourself and you go and you sign up for playing a musical instrument. It was for me like that. And I still feel that, okay, I need to improve in many places, but I have all the tools how I can do that. And yes, I was completely different person. Like just today, we were in another session and one of the participants were saying what she feels in English. And I could relate to her story because how I can explain, I felt like I was in cage. And I wanted to feel freedom. And actually, the thing is that I built that cage by myself. Those bars were my negative thoughts, limiting beliefs, everything negative that I was telling myself. Every time when I was stuck, I was telling myself, you're stupid, you're a fool. And I always felt that when I was speaking, it was a struggle for me. And I was struggling with myself. Every time when I was stuck, this voice in my head was telling, oh, you did this again. You're stuck again. You're a fool. You're stupid. And this fight in my head was preventing me from speaking further. I got nervous. I got stuck and I was in this loop and I couldn't speak. And I was struggling in my head.
Yeah. And just to go back to your imagery about the cage, because it's, like in the coaching session that we had, everyone realized like how powerful it is. Yeah, it's like, first of all, you realize you're in a cage, right? And you're like the stage of unawareness in a language and in life in general. But if we talk about English, it's like you're stuck in a cage that you feel it's kind of like it's always been there because these are the circumstances. And English is not your first language. So you decided that you're in a cage and you think that this is just how it is, not realizing that you have built that cage and you've been expecting someone to hand you the key or to unlock you or to save you from it. And I think what you said, which really resonated with us, the secret is to realize that you have the key and you can let yourself out of that cage, right? And maybe,
Yes.
again, like maybe you won't have the capacity to expand as much as you want because you still need to learn or experience, but you're not in a cage, which was such a beautiful imagery
Yes.
you came up with. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. It's exactly how I felt. So that's why I can relate to the story. And even going through new sound course, I still felt like I was in cage till the module about mindset. Because I remember there was a Q&A session where you asked us to sign up questions. And again, I had those two voices in my head. And one was saying, no, you are not supposed to struggle every time you speak English. And another one was saying, no, it will be like a struggle all the time. And I needed someone to tell me that it's not going to be a struggle. And I wrote that question. So tell me, please, is it going to be a struggle all the time, or is it possible to feel free in English? And I still remember that your answer, because actually it blew my mind. It changed everything. It was the key to unlock that cage. And what you told me, do you remember what you told me? So shifting your mind from noticing moments of being stuck when you are in a negative loop to the moments of being free.
Yeah.
And I actually hadn't realized before that Q&A session that there are moments of freedom while I speak English, because I was constantly concentrated on moments of being stuck and not being free, and moments of struggles. And starting from that point, I started noticing the moments of freedom. And it was turning point for me, because I don't know how it was not happening with me before. I don't know. But since then, I feel free, not 100% of the time, but I feel free when I speak English. And I'm so happy about that.
I think it's mind blowing. And this is like the turning point where you realize that you can also, when you had that transformation, I remember that day vividly. I think that this is where you're like, oh, not only that I realized it and I found freedom, all of a sudden you capacity changed in like what you can do with English. And that's when you started becoming more active in impacting and influencing others with your like telling the story of your own journey. Now, I'm just going to again reiterate what you just mentioned. I think that the human nature is to focus on the negative. Our brain always leans into the negative because in the negative, there is like the threat. And we want to be prepared. It's the primal brain that needs to be aware of all the threats to be able to survive. Now, the primal brain still operates as if we are in constant danger of death, but it's no longer the case. Yet it's very geared towards detecting where the threat is. And negative thoughts is like an indication of fear of something, which is, again, a possible threat. Now, you're not going to die if you make mistakes or you get stuck, but sometimes, like in how we perceive it, feels like that. And I think that it's a choice. We always have choice. It's a choice to let that primal brain control your mind and always focus on the negative. Or you can be like, wait a minute. Why am I only seeing the 20% that is not working? What if I start noticing and appreciating the 80% that is? And all those moments of freedom that I take for granted, you know? And I think that this is where you're like, oh, let me just focus on this. And then the experience is a lot more positive.
Yeah, exactly. Another thing that I realized, I started comparing how I feel in both languages. And I actually found out that I'm constantly stuck in my own language. I can give a lecture and I can be stuck several times. I can mess up the grammar. I can put a wrong stress, but I was not thinking about it in a negative way. I was not telling myself, oh, you're stupid in your own language. You can speak your own language. So why I was doing it with myself, speaking a second language, why I was not giving myself a credit because it was my second language, why I was judging myself so hard, I don't understand. So now I changed my mind. And sometimes I count how many times I am stuck in Russian during the class with my students. And then sometimes I feel, okay, maybe I'm more free speaking English comparing to my Russian.
Yeah, sometimes that happens. And it's kind of like all of a sudden you discover this new sense of freedom. Now, Katya, I want you to tell us a little bit about, so the topic of this conversation is what's possible. So what is possible for you today after making that very massive transformation in your English and your fluency?
Okay, another thing that I hadn't been even dreaming about. In November 2021, I was approached by the head of our foreign languages department, and she asked me, would you want to deliver a lecture in English for a Chinese university? And she actually suggested me just one lecture, but we ended with 5. And now I think if I had been asked to do that before New Sound, I would have said no. No, I can't do that. But when I heard this question, I grabbed that opportunity and I thought, oh, I can do not one lecture, I can do more. That's how we ended up with 5. Yes. And then I was working on those lectures. So we scheduled in November, but I did them only in April because it was postponed several times because of the COVID. And I actually started thinking that it would never happen. But finally it happened. So I delivered those 5 90 minutes actual professional lectures to Chinese students in my medical field. And I did it twice because I did it one time and they asked for another one.
Wow.
And what I felt during the first lecture, I think it was the feeling of liberation, because I felt that I didn't have any barriers because of the language. I felt exactly the same how I feel giving my lecture in Russian. And sometimes I was checking with myself whether I was speaking English because I was not sure because of the feeling of freedom that I had. And yes, it was very challenging, but I did that without the script because I was preparing with our head of foreign languages department. And she asked me actually before the lecture, can you give me a script? I want to read what you are going to say, because I sent to her only the slides. And I told her, I don't have the script. She said to me, I need the script. I am saying, okay, how I'm going to make a script in 1 week for 90-minute lecture, and for what purpose? I'm not going to read from the script. And we did like a test lecture when I delivered everything without the script, and she told, okay, you don't need the script.
Wow. It's like how other people's limitations and limiting beliefs sometimes about what's possible for them, like they project it onto others, not in your case, but sometimes we need to notice it because it might kind of like, okay, wait, do I need a script? What am I doing wrong? Da, da, da. And then that could we can get into our head and like can be concerned about it. But I love how you managed it and how confident you were. And I think that confidence and conviction that you know what to say and how to say it, and for being able to do that 5 times when before, I think your first win was to speak online in front of like 50 people, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah, I had first thing that I've done after the New Sound, I decided to create something at my workplace in English. Since we don't have anything in English, I decided to do something extra curriculum, and I organized kind of a talk with my students. And I prepared a lecture, but it was easy lecture. It was general topic, and it was just for 20 minutes, I think. And there were, 50 people, 50 students, and it was offline. And we had a great conversation in the end. And it was, I think, the first proof that I can speak English in front of people, and I can communicate, and I can feel free, because it was, for a long time, it was my dream to feel freedom when you speak English, this feeling of liberation without any kind of barriers.
Yeah.
And for a long time, I was not sure that it was possible. And now I know that it's possible.
And what I want to acknowledge, like in how you did it, and I encourage everyone to move into that direction, is that you kept challenging yourself, right? Like every time you've had a breakthrough or you've reached a certain level, you kind of like gave yourself a task like this talk or a goal that made you really pushed yourself out of your comfort zone and did something that was kind of scary, but you know it's important for you to get to face that fear and do it because you knew that A, you're going to be accomplishing something, and B, that's going to make you a better speaker, a freer speaker. Same thing with becoming an ambassador, hosting events, and finally those lectures that you delivered. So what would you say to people who were where you were 1 year ago and have this dream of speaking in public in English, giving presentations, finding a job in English, or anything that feels almost impossible for them? What would you tell them? What piece of advice would you give them?
I would tell them just pursue your dream and don't be afraid of taking opportunities and taking challenges. And moreover, I would say search for challenges and opportunities, because that what I was doing when you are right, every time when I feel that, okay, I've done something and I need something more. I start thinking, what can I do to challenge myself even more? Because I feel that it helps me to gain confidence. It helps me to have practice. And when you accomplish this thing, it gives you such an amazing feeling of fulfillment and accomplishment. And that's great. So I would say to people, don't be afraid, don't limit yourself, and don't think that it's not possible, because it's you who are deciding, is it possible or not? It's you who have this key from the cage where you might be right now. So I think everything within your mind, and you have all the tools, especially with the internet. You have all the tools, because I remember myself when I was studying at school. I liked English at school and I wanted to learn English, but I didn't have what we have right now. I had just books. And I even didn't have a teacher because we didn't have a teacher at school. We had just students who were doing practiceship at our school. And I was always fascinated by the language, because for me, it's kind of a miracle which you can acquire. It's a melody. It's something very beautiful.
Katya, what is your next big thing? So now you've already had the experience of speaking in public in front of many people. What is your next big thing when it comes to this language?
The first thing that I would want to do is I would want to give the real lecture, because yes, there were 5 lectures, but they were online. It's not the same. Like when you stay on the stage and you have people and you see their eyes and you can track, are they listening to you or not? Are they engaged or not? And you can change something delivering the lecture based on the communication with them. I miss this so much online, because I like communicating with auditor. I like catch their attention. I like create something along the way when I feel that I'm missing their attention. I'm very passionate about public speaking and sharing my knowledge. So I would want to give the real lecture or seminar in my field, because it's more challenging comparing to do something in general topic. And another thing that I would want to do, I would want to share my experience. I would want to inspire people to understand that it's possible and they can do this, and they have everything within themselves. And the only thing that they need to do is to allow themselves to do that.
Which I must say you're already doing inside of our community. So this is, of course, it's like an ongoing passion, but you've already for sure accomplished this already. Katya, it's such an honor to have you as a student, as a friend, as a community member, as an ambassador, and to watch you. When we started the second round of New Sound, one of the things that Katya did is to post a video of her speaking, her first video ever, and then, her recent videos. And it was so rewarding also to see it was noticeable in how you use English, in your sounds, in your confidence on screen, like your voice. your presence. And I think that this is also a huge tool that you're using. A big tool is videos, right? And I think one of the advantages of using videos to practice English and your fluency is the ability to see the progress, because a lot of times we don't feel it, right? Sometimes we're not even aware of all the changes. And then when you look back, you're like, oh, I didn't know that this is how I communicated, or that's how I sounded. And I think it's really rewarding.
Yeah. And I would want to say one final thing. It's kind of my mantra now. English is not a barrier, and English is not the thing that limits you. English is the thing that liberates you.
Yeah.
The thing is that opens a world for you.
Wow, this is so profound. Absolutely. We tend to look at English as a burden and as something that is stopping us from being us. No, it's just like how we treat it, how we use it, and how we interpret, what happens to us in English. And I love that so much. It is a form of liberation. So we have one question from IO Casts. She asks, what do you recommend when you are stuck with a good level, but not the best? So Katya, would you like to answer that?
Oh, I would say search for challenges. Search for challenges, search for them, or create them for yourself. That's how I'm doing. If I feel that, okay, I'm stuck somewhere and I need to go further, I start thinking, okay, what else can I do? How I can challenge myself even more. Yeah.
I would absolutely say the same thing. And I would also add to check what it is that is holding you back, because a lot of times we feel, oh, it's just my English in general. But English is comprised of so many small elements and so many different things. And sometimes it's kind of like English, right? I need to improve my level. And I think that it's important to remember that you need to not just learn without a plan. You need to have a plan and to focus on the things that really matter. And we had one more question here, and then we're going to end with that. Okay, so 54 years old, too late for improving listening skills. I'm disappointed. So what would you tell Mehdi that is asking about if age is a reason to not succeed?
I think age is not an excuse. Yes, because in our communities, we have so many great examples of people who even older than 50 something, and they are doing such a great job. And it's about all skills, listening, reading, speaking, everything. As long as if you are striving, as long as you are practicing and you are doing everything to improve, you are improving.
Yeah.
So your age is not a barrier.
It's not. And I think that's, again, like a limiting belief that we have. No, the brain does not have the capacity to, it's all how you decide to, if you decide that this is true, then yes, it's going to be impossible. But if you decide that, no, it's not true, and you are going to make it happen for you, you just need the right strategy and the right environment to learn. Because a lot of times it's not a matter of age. It's not a matter of talent. It really is a matter of, surrounding yourself with the right people and also having the right strategy to learn with. All right, Katya, thank you so, so much. I love you very much. Thank you for being here. It's been a pleasure having you as a student in our community, like I said. And thank you for inspiring so many others today with your story and with your advice. So I wish you all the best.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
We'll see you inside the programs. So we're not really going anywhere.
For sure. You need to think for another challenge for me.
I will. Don't worry. It's constantly in my head.
Deal.
And thank you, everyone. Thank you for all our Beyonders and New Sounders for showing up and supporting Katya and me in the chat, and for everyone else listening. Thank you so much for your time. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of the day. All right. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.